All right, we're live. Okay. All right, this is a video on checking, okay, on upper body checking. And by this I mean where we just check somebody as opposed to a jam where we try to upset their balance. The jam takes some commitment and may or may not work. A check does three things, okay? There's also an upper body shoulder check, which we'll do in a later video. That's totally underutilized in karate, okay? So the idea of checking is, number one, you want to occupy the center line. The center line is whatever direction the shot is coming from, okay? So if Jimmy's punching up the center line, okay, notice if I occupy the center line, he doesn't, okay? So that's kind of simplistic. But like any technique, you want to, number one, get out of the way, get your hands up, and then keep moving, okay? So the checking can occupy the center line. If he was throwing a hook at me, okay, if I occupy the center line, because here's your center line, right? Okay. Sometimes you overcommit, but we don't want to do that. So anyway, so checking occupies the center line. Two, it makes your hands come up, which is what you should be doing. You should always get your hands up and move, get out of the way somehow, okay? But the most important thing is a check lets you wait for the right moment to hit, okay? Because if Jimmy punches me, and I go, wham! Well, I'm not really ready for it. He's got more opportunity than I do. And so, and plus I open my center line, okay? So it helps you to think what to do, okay? So if Jimmy's punching me, and if I do here and I'm not sure what to do first, if I check, I occupy the next possible center line, but also it gives me a chance to decide what I want to do, okay? So we're going to take it from a very classic blocking position, which is a parry block. Basically, you get out of the way and parry rather than that. Okay, now when Jim punches me, okay, now I could do this, but both hands are occupied, okay, so maybe that's not quite as good, okay? So we always want to close the center line, so I want to close my center line, not open my center line, okay? So I close my center line, the hands are coming up, this follows through. Now some people are pretty fast. If you're faster than your opponent, well, you got no problems. Some people snatch a punch out of the air, but that's not a good idea, okay? So if I parry and parry, that way if you throw a jab and a cross, throw a jab and a cross, okay? 1, 2, then maybe I'm in the right place. My hands are up, I'm in the right place. But now, I'm not really ready to hit, so maybe I'll do a check, even a preemptive block. I don't have to touch his hand, I just want to cross the center line, okay? Then I can hit, boom. And there's that shoulder check I talked about. We'll explore that later on, okay? So, always close the center line. So when the punch comes, I go 1, 2, check. I'm not trying to put any power into it. And I don't stay there. I check and I can hit then, or I can double check and hit, okay? So the idea of the checking is things can happen in between the time you block and the time you feel like you're ready to strike, okay? So if I happen to go to the inside, he throws that punch, I'll still do my parry block where I close and close, okay? Well, that's not a good idea to hit now, right? But if I go here, here, check, okay, then I can see the right time to hit, or maybe I'll check again. Okay, so one more time, slower. Okay, so boom, boom, check, hit. There's also a theory called closest hand technique too, though. So he punches and I've got my hands up, I happen to do this. Well, this hand's closest, so why don't I just do that? It could be a strike or a check. And then I can follow up, okay? Now, if I had gone here, well, this hand's the closest one. I can check and hit, or I can just plain hit, okay? So you want to take opportunity of using one or more checks to get yourself to the point where you feel that you're really ready to hit. The other reason is because this guy, when he punches, okay, you retract your hand fast, okay? Oh, I did that already. Well, God, that messed me up, didn't it? Well, from here, I can check and then hit because that keeps me moving and I have the opportunity to find a place to strike, okay? So grabbing a punch out of the air is not a cool idea, but if I block and I see that hand coming back, maybe I can grab it at that point. Now against a push, yeah, sure, against a push you can grab and do all kinds of cool stuff out of it, but that's not what we're after. So keep that checking in mind and work with it. Thank you, James.
Thank you, Sensei.